So I guess Tim Pool and his team went to the Libertarian convention. And, you know, we covered Trump's speech that he gave. Man, it was wild. There were a lot of boos. There was a lot of him fighting back against the crowd, going, oh, you want to just get your 3%? Go ahead and get your 3%. See if I care. And Trump ended up getting like 6 or 8 votes out of 800. And he's not going to be the Libertarian nominee because Trump was making the argument, either make me your nominee or just vote for me. All right, well, the nominee thing definitely didn't work out. We'll see how the voting thing works out. But he gave a speech. After that, he goes and he talks to Tim Pool. Tim Pool does like nearly a 2-hour stream, hour and 47 minutes or so. And Trump gives him like 15 minutes, 17 minutes, something like that. At the end, they come on. And man, this was just embarrassing. This is just embarrassing. You're talking to the former president of the United States. Guys, I don't care which party the former president belongs to. If I'm interviewing them, I'm bringing a blowtorch and a crowbar and an anvil, and I'm going to townsies, okay? I'm going to work this dude, pause, and just destroy him. Say, hey, here's all the fucking war crimes you committed. Here's all the horrible policy decisions. Here's the money you took from this lobbyist and these special interests and the military industrial complex and all that. I'm doing all that stuff. What does Tim Pool do? Tongue bath. All right, let's dive into it. Got a lot to say about this.
Big question that we get a lot is, there's 2 components to this. The first is, many of the libertarians here, we want to see firings. We want to see, in the bureaucracy, corrupt individuals, the bloat. On top of that, without getting into the specifics for obvious reasons, the things that they're doing to you with the court system is not just to you, it is to me, it is to everyone who voted for you in 2020.
It's true.
He's just using a Trump line. They're not just coming after me for my 91 crimes. They're coming after you. No, because your average person didn't set up a fucking fake elector slate, a fraudulent elector slate, their words, not mine, to try to overthrow the results of the last election. They're not coming after you. They're going after the guy who did the 91 crimes. Oh my God. He's repeating his own lines back to him. I've had that happen to me before too, not gonna lie. When I met somebody in public and they tell me an argument that I've made that they got from me, but they say it to my face as if it's original, and it's just like, I love you, but this is a little weird, right? He's doing that to the former president. They're not just going after you, they're coming after me and my beanie.
Are we going to get some good personnel in as Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and in the CIA, and see some prosecutions?
Are we going to get some good personnel? And of course, by good personnel, he means sycophantic loyalists to Trump who will use the deep state as his arm of thugs, his fucking stormtroopers. Are we going to go after your political opponents? That's what they mean by this.
The jobs we did on trade, the jobs we did, frankly, in the military.
Oh my God.
Underneath the...
We lost 200,000 jobs under Trump, factory jobs. They were outsourced. Is Tim going to interject here and correct him? Is Tim going to interject and bring up the bullshit and the lie that Trump told with Carrier? Remember when he pretended like, I'm saving the Carrier jobs. I'm saving them. I'm saving the jobs. What happened? He gave them a bunch of taxpayer money, so shook down the taxpayers. Then they outsourced the jobs anyway a year later. Are you going to bring that up? How we got double hosed by him? Are you going to bring up the 200,000 factory jobs we lost? Of course he's not. Of course he's not. Of course he's not.
The jobs we did, frankly, in the military underneath the terrible television generals who were absolutely terrible, but we have incredible people. You know, we defeated ISIS, and we had no new wars because they were concerned with us. I had no wars at all. I finished off a war that we were in for 20 years, but we had no wars. And we have to get the right people. It's all about the people. So when I first came here, I was only in Washington 17 times in my life. All of a sudden, I'm president. And I really knew nobody. I relied on people. Some were good, some were rhinos, some gave us some bad advice. And generally speaking, we had very good people. But we had some that we have to do better. Attorney General, we have to get a great Attorney General. And I'd work with the Libertarian Party on that. I think it's very good because, you know, I view the Libertarian Party as almost a party of common sense, largely of common sense. And I say that about the Republican Party, too. We're a party of common sense. You want borders, but you want fairness. You want a lot of things that a lot of other people don't talk about. So we will work with a lot of people to get the right people in. The difference is I now know sort of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to be relying on people that I didn't know very well and listen to their recommendations. And I think we're going to have phenomenal people.
So obviously, since Trump did his whole, no new wars, I did no new wars, I did no new wars. Since he did that, I ended our 20-year wars. Obviously, Tim Tim is going to say, well, hold on now. That's not exactly right. You didn't end Iraq. You didn't end Afghanistan. He had an agreement where after he left, if Biden agreed to uphold it, then they'd get out of Afghanistan, but not while he was president. In fact, I remember the time he went on a tweet storm one night saying we're going to get out of Afghanistan under him. And then the generals came in and said, sir, we're not going to do that. And he said, okay, I guess you're right. I guess we're not doing that. He stayed in Iraq. He stayed in Afghanistan. And the idea that he started no new wars, that's not exactly right, is it, Tim? More on that in a minute. That's not exactly right, is it, Tim? You're going to press him on that, right, Tim?
I think we're going to have great people.
We're friends with Kash Patel. He was on the show just before you, and that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, well, Kash is fantastic.
Yeah,
he's an example of a good one.
Yep.
We have some great people, but Kash was a great example. Devin Nunes, as you know, he's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So many great people.
So when it came to foreign policy, I'll be honest, I didn't vote for you in 2016.
So he didn't call out the no new wars thing, and he didn't call out the I ended the wars thing. He didn't call that out.
Obama let me down. I'm from Chicago. I thought 2016 was silly. And then in 2020, with the timeline for getting out of Afghanistan,
right,
when you tried to get our troops out of Syria, my question is, why are we in Syria? Who even knew?
Yeah.
And they lied to you, and they lied to us about the number of troops in there. And so maybe it's a bit blunt for me to say I want to see people prosecuted for the lies to the American people. But in terms of foreign policy, perhaps it's a little bit of a biased interview, but I think you're the greatest president of my lifetime.
I appreciate it.
And ending the wars that we should not have been involved in. Now the fear is World War III.
Tim, this is the most fucking embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life. Do you remember when Obama was president, and then when Obama left office, and everybody, right-wingers, left-wingers, everybody who's anti-establishment used to say all the time, what about the fucking drone war? You should be in prison because of the fucking drone war. Your illegal drone war killed so many innocent civilians, 90% the wrong people, according to Daniel Hale, the whistleblower. Everybody attacked Obama for the drones. With Trump, he did an increase of the drone strikes 432%. Still killing 90% the wrong people. Did he bring that up? No, he gave him credit for being anti-war. How are you going to give him credit for being anti-war when we were still in Iraq and we were still in Afghanistan? How are you going to give him credit for being anti-war when he did an illegal assassination of a top Iranian commander, Soleimani, who was on the ground fighting ISIS? Which, by the way, that attack led to retaliatory attacks against our troops in the region, and some people died. How are you going to give him credit for being anti-war when he did an illegal assassination campaign and brought us to the brink of another giant war with Iran? By the way, he also ripped up the Iranian nuclear agreement, and you know what happened? Then Iran started further building their nuclear weapons when they weren't doing it before. He ripped up that agreement. They started expanding their nuclear energy program. He tried to coup Venezuela. Remember that when they pretended like Juan Guaido, this guy's actually the head of Venezuela because we're declaring that he's the head. Just a total illegal recognition of a guy who's not the leader. He's not the president. There was a fucking, goofy-ass circus-style coup attempt where the motherfuckers got caught. How can you say he's anti-war? Trump is campaigning now on war with Mexico. He said it repeatedly. He said he wants to recognize the drug cartels as terrorist entities, and whether or not the government of Mexico accepts it, do drone strikes and do airstrikes in Mexico. Do a proper war with Mexico, our neighbor, who's our ally, against their wishes. War with Mexico. This is fucking embarrassing, Tim. This is embarrassing. Goddamn. You guys know one of the talking points that drives me the craziest is this totally fucking bogus lie that Donald Trump is anti-war. Was he anti-war when he put fucking John Bolton as his top advisor? The guy who is the biggest neocon, warhawk, war criminal on the fucking planet? Was he anti-war then? Was he anti-war when he had Gina Haspel in his administration? The fucking neocon war criminal torturer from the Bush years? What about Mike Pompeo, the guy who bragged about lying, cheating, and stealing when he was with the CIA? How about when he put his neocon ass in his administration? Is that anti-war, Tim? By the way, we didn't even get to the best part yet. I'm waiting until you hear the best part. It's coming. It's coming. Wait for it.
Now the fear is World War III.
Yep.
What are you looking at when you enter your next term to stopping the escalation?
Well, first of all, I'm the only one that is going to stop World War III because this man can't put two sentences together. He doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know where he is. And amazingly, it seems like he's going to be running. You know, it's a lot of people say, do you think he'll make it to the starting gate? Well, we'll see what happens. But if you look at Viktor Orban, because we don't want to see wars. I don't want to see wars. I was in no wars other than we finished a war with ISIS and we completed it, 100% complete. But I don't want to see wars. I think it's so horrible, so unnecessary, so costly in terms of lives and money in that order. And destroying these countries, you're destroying culture. When you look at Ukraine, that would have never happened if I were president. You look at the October 7th attack on Israel, it would have never happened.
Trump did the Abraham Accords. The whole point of the Abraham Accords was to put a middle finger up to the Palestinians to say, you don't fucking matter. We're going to go around you. We're going to have Israel make peace with all the other Arab nations, specifically as a fuck you to you guys, letting you know you're going to be under permanent occupation, bitch. Then what happened? Hamas said, oh, you want to play that game? We don't matter. I think we do. Watch this. And that was October 7th. What else led to October 7th? Moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Spitting in the eye further of Palestinians. That wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. October 7th happened in part because of you. And the Ukraine thing, please. That's been a conflict and a beef going back so long. Vladimir Putin, when he announced the invasion of Ukraine, pointed that out in the speech. The idea that your existence as president would have blocked it in perpetuity is fucking preposterous. It's narcissistic, deranged nonsense.
I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. You can talk in such a way where they respect you and they listen to you. Viktor Orban of Hungary.
Okay, he just brought up Yemen. He said, but they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. I know. Tim Pool is going to fact check him and correct him on that one because we all know Trump's record with Yemen, right? Wait for it.
He's a very powerful guy. He said the problem the world has is that Donald Trump is no longer president. When he was president, China didn't play around, Russia didn't play around, nobody played around, and we had no problems. Today, the whole world is on fire.
I heard that funny, there's a conversation from a phone call where you said that there was they maybe thought there was a 5% chance you'd nuke him. And so they kept him in line.
That was his response. Donald Trump brought up Yemen. Said, they're dropping bombs on Yemen. They're dropping bombs on Yemen. Can you believe that? Tim, everybody who follows politics knows this fact. Bernie Sanders and Mike Lee got together under the Trump presidency, and those two senators drafted a bill to say, hey, you know what? Let's stop arming and funding Saudi Arabia with weapons because they are using those weapons to commit a genocide in Yemen. Let's stop arming and funding a genocide. What happened? That bill passed. It got to Trump's desk. He fucking vetoed it. He vetoed it because he wanted to keep sending money and weapons to Saudi Arabia to do a genocide in Yemen. He was fine with their genocide. Why? Oh, gee, I don't know. I can't figure it out. Couldn't be because there's some sort of fucking financial ties between the Trump family and between the Saudis, right? Couldn't be that Jared Kushner went on to get $2 billion from Saudi Arabia for his shitty financial business that he started up. Couldn't be that Trump got tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia to have these live golf events at his golf courses. Couldn't be that Trump took hundreds of thousands or millions from Saudi Arabia directly through his hotels when he was president, and he then in turn greenlit all the weapons going to them and didn't even give them a slap on the wrist when they were caught massacring Jamal Khashoggi, a fucking journalist. Couldn't be that, right? He brought up Yemen right to your face, and you didn't have it in you to respond, well, hold on now. It's because of you there was a genocide in Yemen. You sent the money. You sent the weapons. The Senate tried to block us from arming and funding a genocide, and you said, fuck off, Senate. I'm on the Saudi side. Let them do their genocide. This was fucking embarrassing. I mean, I've seen embarrassing before. This was above and beyond, bro. This is as embarrassing could be. Total fucking lying ass, misleading positions being spoon-fed to his audience. And if they don't know the specifics that I'm bringing up, then to them, this is, hey, yay, Trump. Look, he's anti-war because Tim said so. What a joke. What a joke. This is partisan hackery at its absolute finest. So spare me the, oh, I'm kind of libertarian, or I'm kind of a centrist, or actually I'm on the left, but the right is correct about everything and I love Trump. Spare me your fucking self-labels and your drivel and this nonsense. This right here was preposterously stupid. And you swung and you missed on literally every front. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.